I make money every time I go live on TikTok, part 2. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I identified my ideal client and my niche using my human design chart. So I tend to lump your niche, the content that you create, your messaging, all into one category, and that is your Mercury gates. Your Mercury gates are right here, right there, and right there. It basically looks like a Venus symbol with devil horns. So you have two Mercury gates. You have one that's unconscious and one that's conscious. Pink side is conscious, blue side is unconscious. Conscious means you're aware of it, unconscious means you're not aware of it. But you're always talking about those topics either way. So I realized there are two things that I really am always talking about, and they match up exactly with my Mercury gates, which are spirituality and my non-mainstream lifestyle. So gate 61 on my conscious Mercury side is our gate of mystery and occult knowledge. Imagine that. I talk all day, every day about ancient spiritual systems. And then gate 43, it's called the gate of insights, but it really is about seeing things differently and really not being able to see it any other way. For example, being an entrepreneur and having no cap on the amount of money that I can make and being able to set my own schedule. Once I saw that, I literally could not see life any other way. Like I cannot visualize or imagine myself in a 9-to-5 job ever again. And I haven't had a 9-to-5 job in over a decade. Same thing with my health. I tend to be very non-mainstream with my health choices. I use naturopathy. I use homeopathy. I tend to be very much holistic view in my health choices, and I can't look at it any other way no matter how hard I try. Same thing with my kids. They are unschooled, not even homeschooled. We don't even have a curriculum. They've never been to school, and they are absolutely brilliant. The methodology that we use is called self-directed education or self-directed learning. It's an alternative style of education. Once I saw that, I could not see life any other way. So these are topics I just talk about naturally, easily, effortlessly, because they are in my Mercury gates and I just talk about them all the time. Nonetheless, why not create content where I get to talk about that? Next is, who am I talking to, though? So when I'm asking myself, who am I speaking to? I'm looking for my ideal client, and I'm looking for my ideal client in my Venus gates, which are right below the Mercury gates. Right there and right there. So in my Venus gates, I have some interesting placements. I've got gate 46, which is the love of the physical body, and then I've got gate 38, which is the gate of the fighter. So on my conscious side, I am hyper aware of how important it is to me to fight for a life that has meaning and purpose. It's very hard for me to do things that feel like they're a waste of time to me. It's very hard for me to do things that are traditional and mundane. I always have to be feeling like I am fighting for something, challenging myself and achieving. And then on the other side, gate 46, love of the physical body, the way that comes through me is being able to manage energy well and feel good in your own body by having good energy boundaries and feeling like you are in charge of the way that your energy expresses. But that could express out in many ways, as all 4 of these gates could as well. So I'm going to give you a few examples of other niches that I could be in using those same 4 gates. And this is mostly just to remind you that your preferences and your interests play a big part in this as well. I just really like human design. I'm just super obsessed with it. So I tend to make all of my content and all of my business decisions around human design, but I could be doing many other things with those same 4 placements. For example, non-traditional ways or non-mainstream ways of being healthy and feeling good in your physical body. So I could be doing like health influencer type of stuff. And actually, if you saw my personal Instagram like algorithm, it is all like exercises and different ways of like toning different parts of your body and high protein meals and diet and all of those things. So those are real passions and interests for me, but you can't do all of your passions and all of your interests at once, maybe unless you're a manifesting generator, but you can't talk about all of those things at once on your socials if you're trying to sell a product, because your clients will be confused. They really won't know what you're offering them. So you've got to be clear and focused and strategic on the platform and take your clients through a journey with you based on your own experience, based on your own expertise, your passions, and your interests. So hopefully this was helpful to you in narrowing down your ideal client and your messaging. People always ask me when I do videos like this if I have a great resource for gates. Yes, and Gates are layered. Gates have a lot of nuance to them. I always highly suggest you get a reading when we're talking about the level of gates in a human design chart. And it doesn't even have to be with me. Get a reading from someone who has experience in human design, because gates have layers of information. It's not as direct and straightforward as it sounds. It is now, right? Because I've experimented and I've tried lots of different vocabulary, and I've tried lots of different business approaches for myself. And so I can say, this is clear and focused and strategic for me now. But when you're a beginner, it's not always so direct. So working with a reader, they can tell you more about the energy center that the gate is located in. They can also tell you more about the line that the gate is placed in. They can tell you more about the planets and placements. There's information in every single one of those placements, by the way. I only talked about 4, but Pluto would tell us about your transformational qualities, or the transformations that your clients might have when they work with you. You've probably heard about Jupiter being expansive and being the giver of gifts. All of these gates have really great and valid info, and that info tells a story throughout the entire chart, and it also takes into account your lived experience and your interests. So highly recommend work with an expert when you're wanting to learn more about gates. But if you want to just get like a clue, like a quick insight, I do have all of the gates in a playlist on my TikTok. I have all of the gates listed on my blog. I have all of the gates listed on my Pinterest. I have all of the gates listed on my Instagram. So just to get a really quick idea of what each gate means, I do have resources for you there. But if you want to go deeper, if you really want to tell a story, if you want to have a strategy that works for you and your energy, I would suggest a reading.